welcome back to yet another episode of the film scene, and this time I'm here with Andrew. So, Andrew, would you like to introduce yourself to us?
Yes, my name is Andrew Vile. I'm a film director from many, many years ago. I'm an actor as well, and a producer, and a songwriter, and a whole lot of other things. I've been doing this almost my entire life.
Hmm.
Originally, I was trained as a scientist, so I've got a science degree, but
Ah,
I decided the arts was more interesting, more fun.
yeah, that's amazing. So you're like a multi-talented person, like doing a lot of things in the industry. I really admire that. So, Andrew, tell me, like, when was the first time you had this like realization that you wanted to become a filmmaker or an actor?
Yeah, well, when I was about 8 years old, uh, I went to Tasmania, and afterwards I went to a place in Tasmania that was very historic, and I wrote a poem about it, um, and that was published even then when I was, very young. And I thought, well, this is very interesting because people hear about what you're doing and treat you a lot differently, a lot better if they think you're intelligent. But also, I mean, I was into cameras, still cameras, when I was very young, which were little box cameras and things. I used to run around the neighbourhood taking pictures of trees. I
Oh.
was interested in all the different types of trees in Australia. So I built up a sort of number of those, but that's the very early stuff, yes.
So you say you started like with photography?
Photography mostly, yes. And I got a small movie camera
Oh,
um, when I was about 19, I think, or 20. It was a tiny little one, um, a Kodak one, which they don't make anymore. But
yeah.
I used that and shot some stuff. But so I started making films. This will blow your mind, as it does mine. In
Yeah.
1969 was,
1969.
was the first
Wow.
film I directed.
Wow, so
19,
that was like your first project? Like that's when you released your first project in 1969?
yeah, I didn't release it in 69. I
Mm.
shot it in 69 and 70. Back then, it took a long, long time to make a movie, even a short movie. This was a 10-minute short movie about Olympic pole vaulting, the
Oh,
sport, the activity. I was a pole vaulter, and I decided that the what you see when you're pole vaulting is quite amazing because you see the sky turning around as you're going up underneath on the pole. Up underneath, you see the sky all spinning around, and then you
yeah.
release the pole by pushing it away and
Yeah.
go over the bar. I wasn't I wasn't an extremely good pole vaulter, but I was good enough to
Capture.
compete with Olympians,
Oh,
but they were way, way better. But I knew the sport backwards, and I thought this will make a really great movie.
yeah.
And that did, and it was very, very successful all around the world.
That's amazing. Is it like on any streaming service or anything or
I
YouTube?
copyright, and I don't put it up places because people just steal it. In
Yeah.
this day, and age, everyone just steals anything that they see. So
Fair
they
enough.
have to come to me if they want to see it, or go to the National Film and Sound Archive in Canberra, and they're very picky about who they let see anything. So that's the same with all of my films. I've made
Mm.
a number of films. I've made about 40 films,
Wow.
um, and I've been involved as an actor in about, well, it's something like 400. So
Wow, that's impressive. That's mighty impressive.
it's just a very long time. Like
Mm.
55 years I've been doing it. So if you imagine you make two or three each year, straight away you're 150, but I've done more than that. So
Oh,
they're getting much faster because in the present you can make a movie in a couple of days.
true.
Um, Whereas back in the day when I made Catapult, it took me about 7 months to make
Oh,
that because I had to go through all the processing,
mm.
backwards and forwards. I had to send the footage away, and have it assessed by other people. Then
Oh.
doing the sound mix, you couldn't mix sound back then the way they do now in
Mm.
the process called rock and roll mixing. So you had to get the whole thing right in one go. So it was very tedious and so many different um, stages to make a movie and to make it
Yeah,
professionally. And I decided to make movies professionally, not amateur, right from the start.
the right.
So I had enough money, because I had been training. As I said, I was working as a professional scientist beforehand, and I'd saved up enough money to pay for everything.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, so that's like what my next question was actually gonna be. Like, how did you start your journey? Like I know you have already elaborated a bit, but how has your journey been like from the start to today? Like the difference between old age filmmaking and modern day filmmaking?
There's a terrific difference in that. As I started to explain then, the process of even shooting sprocketed film is so different because we didn't have a way of seeing what we were shooting.
Oh.
We saw it in the viewfinder, but then we didn't see what came out the other end until we'd sent the film away, had it to a laboratory, had it all processed. They'd
Mhm.
had a look and sent back a copy, not even the original. They send a copy back to me.
Oh.
Look at. I look at that copy and I then authorise when it's got to be done, or I play with that copy. I actually cut it, and then following that, I cut the original from the copy. It's called neg cutting. I mean, the people that are listening to this or watching this probably know this as well as I do, but I'm saying it for simplicity. It's
Mm.
a typically long process, the whole thing, doing it that way. Um, and then you have to record the sound and various different. I mean, you've got sort of 5 soundtracks, and they've all got to be. The way we used to do it is different from the electronic way now,
Mhm.
but we used to have motorized uh, tables. Uh, uh, even forget the names of them.
Oh.
Motor is one that I have still. They had those back in the 30s, and they're huge machines. You sit in front of them and you do the physical cutting with a splicer and stuff.
Oh,
It's
really?
different from the way it's done today.
Yeah, and now I can imagine it must be really hard, like nowadays we just see whatever we have filmed on the spot and we decide if that's a good take or not, and we just like, oh, we could do another one, we could maybe okay, we can finalize this, but it must have been like really hard to like not see it right after it's filmed. So have you like ever had that experience where you got the copy and you were not like really a big fan of how it turned out?
Yes, that was always happening at different points. Um, but the fact of the matter is, we people that were shooting films back then went to a terrific amount of trouble to practice it all, the camera work,
Mm-hmm.
before you actually pressed the trigger. Because
Fair
it's
enough.
not like video where you have the thing running all the time and you keep making adjustments while you're looking at it through another screen. Directors and sound recordists and anyone interested can have a screen in front of them, a small one, and watch what's going on, make comments and stuff. So for commercials, they're doing
Oh.
this all the time. So there's 3 or 4 people watching the pictures and they're watching it in real time. Now, back then, all we could see was what we saw through the tiny little lens, tiny little viewfinder, and
Uh-huh.
hope it was going to look good when we got the rushes back two
Oh,
days later.
yeah,
So
that
I
must
had to
be
send
hard.
off to the city.
That
Um,
must be
but it
really
was,
tough.
yeah, and we didn't waste film because it was very costly. You see, the moment you pressed the trigger of the camera
Mm-hmm.
to start to start it and did a slate and everything, money was running through the camera at
Oh,
like I don't even know what it would cost now. It would be just unbelievably expensive to
yeah,
make made back then the way to do it now the same way. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't possibly afford it
fair.
because 35 millimeter film running through the camera at 24 frames a second, say, or even 16 millimeter.
Oh,
running through at 24 frames per second. You need to have about on the cameras I've got, which I still
yeah.
have,
Oh,
like Bolex and Aeroflex. They're old cameras that people used to use, but you'd load them up with either a 100 roll, 100-foot roll, or a
oh,
400-foot
all
roll
in one.
inside the camera, and
Yeah,
then you press the trigger and it goes, zzz, and the 100-foot would be used up in two minutes or something.
two
So you couldn't
minutes.
take it around and shoot anything. You had to have everything worked out exactly what you wanted, and the moment you got what you wanted, you cut the camera. So it's
Oh,
very, very different. But
very tight, I guess.
it's very good discipline. If filmmakers today went back and made one film on sprocketed uh, Kodachrome or whatever stock, Eastman color, whatever, they
Yeah.
would learn so much about what you have to think of when you're directing a movie.
Yeah, it would be something like a good element in directing courses for students, like at least do one film on one of those cameras. So like you train yourself to be like precise and not waste a lot of time, because I think it's also very important in modern day filmmaking to like save time and budget and be as concise and precise as possible.
Yes, I agree with that. It would be a very good discipline.
Yeah, no, that's actually brilliant. But yeah, I can imagine like there would be a lot of like rehearsing or practicing the movements and everything before you actually press the trigger on the camera, isn't it?
And that's just the crew, not talking about the action. And the action, of course, is dominated by the actors. So you've also got to add that into the formula too, because the actors are so important. Well, that's
Yeah.
what you're filming.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you have to get the crew knowing exactly what's happening, exactly how everything's going to go. And then the actors also have to know an awful lot about the way the camera is being set up.
Mm.
It's much easier today, as you say, because you can rehearse, you can see it in the time. You can play around with it and
Yeah,
watch it.
everything's
And after
changed
you've
it.
got something that's pretty good, you can say, okay, now we're going to shoot it. We're going for a take now, and
Yeah.
then it's a much better way, the present way.
Hmm.
But the other way is a great way to develop your skill as a director.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like something I think every director should learn, like at least like a little bit, because d- sorry, discipline is like very important on film set. That is something I've noticed. I do like some spontaneity, like when you're filming a shot, sometimes it might not look good and you want to change it. I do like that flexibility, but definitely some sort of discipline is very important. And I think like maybe, like you said, filming on one of those old cameras might help as a student, but yeah, no, I totally agree. So is there anything like from those days that you would like to bring into modern day filming other than the discipline or and the rigidity, I guess?
I think I've said it all to you just now.
Hmm.
What the difference is so enormous, and the problems of today are different problems.
Mm.
And you don't want to go back to old problems when you've got new problems coming up.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, no, absolutely. Why do we need more problems? We already have some of our own. But yeah, no. So is there anything from today that you wish you had back then that would have made life on the set much easier?
Everything, everything is better. Yeah, absolutely, it is. Um, you've got more. Everything technically is way, way better.
Mm,
And the other thing that's better is that it's opened up media and film to people that didn't have any money,
mm,
because you can shoot films on mobile phones. In fact, most films in Australia at the present, at a certain level, are shot on mobile phones,
yeah.
smart. So, whereas in the past, I mean, the cameras I'm talking about, Aeroflex and stuff, cost thousands of dollars.
Oh.
So, to hire one for a day to shoot something, and again, it's the time, but even to hire one for a day, you're up for hundreds of dollars just to
Oh,
hire a camera.
just
Whereas if you've got your phone and a smartphone that's like an iPhone 16 or 17 or something,
yeah.
put everything on it anyway, as good as any of the stuff that was in the past. So there's very, very great differences in the techniques. But
Ye-
of course, the quality of what you make is determined by the ideas behind it.
Mm,
That's that hasn't changed.
yeah, definitely. It's like eventually like up to the people who are actually making the film for the film to be good, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. It was so interesting to learn about different techniques of filmmaking, and yeah, I loved knowing more about those cameras. Yeah, and I do think like some sort of training on those might help practice discipline, but yeah, it's so nice to see how filmmaking has evolved over years, and nowadays we do have a lot of equipment, and I guess I say a lot of stuff that makes it easier for us to film, which I think we should never take for granted and not overly rely on it as well. After all, the creativity comes from the people who are doing it. It's just the equipment is to make life easier. But yeah, no, it was really interesting to learn about all that stuff. And thank you so much for sharing it with us, Andrew. And before I let you go, I would like to play a little game with you. So this one is basically Two Truths and a Lie film edition. So throughout your filmmaking journey, there must have been a lot of things. So you tell me like three facts, two of which are true, and one is obviously a lie, and I'll try to guess which one's which. So you ready?
I'm ready, but I'm going to test your ability here. I'm going to give you four different things, not three. So
Okay.
two of them will be real and two of them will be untrue. So
Right.
here they
Upping
are.
the challenge. I like that.
I sang in the opera Aida at the Sydney Opera House. That's number one.
Mhm.
Uh, I spent time with Sophia Loren, the famous film star from
Mhm.
Italy. That's number two. Uh, Number three is I filmed inside a submarine when it dived to the bottom of the ocean.
Mhm.
And number four is I met Charlie Chaplin in America.
Oh, okay. So, I think the
Oh,
Sophia Loren one is true.
you think that's true?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's true.
It is true.
Oh, okay. So that's 1 point for me, I guess. And the second one, I would say the submarine one is true because it sounds like a good
It's
challenge.
actually untrue, but
Oh, oh no.
an element of truth in it. I have filmed inside a submarine while it was on the surface, but never
Oh,
when it
God. Okay.
it down under the water.
All right, so it's like 50-50.
My
Yeah.
nurse.
Okay, so that's untrue. So what was the first one?
The third one was
Oh, the first one.
the first one was I sang in the opera
Hmm.
Aida in Sydney Opera House.
And then there's one with Charlie Chaplin. So I think the you did sing in the opera. I think that's true. Uh,
No, I was in the opera, but they wouldn't let me sing. I was a new
oh.
supernumerary, so I was like an extra. But I
Oh.
did great fun thing to do.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I
opera.
loved singing that. They had proper singers.
Oh. So,
All we did was carry in the actors in cages and things. There were a lot of us. If you know you probably don't know the opera. Aida is a very famous opera, and it's
oh,
set with a lot of slaves and things who I was one of the slaves, you know.
oh, so you're like ensemble? If-
Yeah. We had to carry people, had to carry the real singers in. Uh,
Oh, that's still interesting. Yeah. So,
in a say there's a, pres- there's a big parade of people coming into the onto the stage, and you know all the slaves and all the people that were helping the famous people set in Egypt in the past a long time ago. So
oh,
you can imagine it's a fabulous musical opera. But you
that's
haven't got the fourth one. What was the last one we were talking about?
So it was you met with Charlie Chaplin in America. So I'm guessing that's true then.
It is true.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
Afterwards. But that was an amazing thing because,
Yeah,
just
he's a
absolute,
legend.
yeah, absolute legend of the cinema.
Yeah,
So you got two and a half right out of three, three and a half out
okay.
of four.
That's I
So
think
give me
decent.
yours.
I think
What are
that's
yours?
decent enough.
Yeah, what are yours?
Oh, I had three actually. So first thing is I acted and directed my short film, acted in and directed all my short films. And I have never auditioned for a play. And then third one is I have never performed in any Shakespeare show ever.
Okay, so the first one is true. You've acted and directed in films.
Yeah.
One was
The second one was
stage stage audition.
uh-huh. I've
Yeah.
never.
I think that one would be, I think that one is true too. I don't think you've ever done that
Oh, actually, I have done a couple of auditions.
one. And the third one,
I have never done any Shakespeare related show. I know it's
but you have.
yeah, I mean I did one with student theater at ANU. I know it's a bit obvious, like I think I'm like very bad with this game, so it's like I can guess, but I like when I try to tell about things about myself, I think that's where I'm like very rusty, you know. So yeah, but you did good, like
Right and one wrong. Is
Hmm?
that it? I got two right and one wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, you did
Pretty
well. Yeah. So yeah, that's a yeah. That was amazing. Yeah. No, I like I said, I'm not very good at forming lies about myself. I don't know. But yeah, no, that was really good. You did good. So,
good.
thank you
I
so much.
hope this show goes out to people actually see it because I do a lot of things
Mhm.
these days, students that never, and the films never get shown anywhere, not even in festivals. So I'm
Ah.
hoping that this show that you're doing is
Mhm.
going to be seen by a lot of people.
This podcast, you mean, or? Yeah, so I will put it on my YouTube. So people, yeah, you'll be able to see everything and they'll really love to hear your insights. So yeah, but yeah, that was it for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, Andrew. It was really lovely being a part of your filmmaking journey. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Till then, ta-da.
Thank you very much, Rucha.
Thank you.